Two very large rivers flow generally westward toward a common point in Knoxville. There the French Broad and the Holston Rivers merge to create the Tennessee River. The two rivers span more than 9,000 square miles of land. They are important rivers by virtue of size, but the rivers also flow ceaselessly through momentous lives and times. Once a river was a lifeline. We built towns along them, rode rivers to market. Today we build bridges over them and take them for granted. Yet like a mystical dance, the tumbling, mesmerizing water lures us still. I'm Bill Landry. Welcome aboard. It's the lure of the river on the good ship Heartland tonight. East Tennessee is blessed with an abundance of rivers. We arrived traveling along them, ventured forward traveling down them, and today live beside them if we can. It's been said that if a river flows through your land, it flows through your life. They're full of dreams, rivers. They offer hope. Rivers are like magic. The Powell and Clinch River coming out of Virginia, the Nolichucky and the Pigeon coming out of North Carolina, the Watauga to the north, the Hiawassee to the south, and of course what the riverboat pilots call the most beautiful river in the world, the Great Tennessee River. Crooked as a dog's hind leg. On Heartland tonight, like the riverboatmen of old, we'll build and ride a flatboat downriver, share tales of river life at Underwood Bend, learn of the old coon hunter Kaz Walker and his clan's connection to the river, and finally get off that riverboat and do a little fly fishing. Before the dams, goods were carried by river downstream and sold. That's how lumber was moved to market. In the late 19th century, 6 million board feet of timber was floated down the Clinch and Powell rivers each year. One 20th century man upriver in Virginia wanted to see how that was done. It seemed like a good idea at the time. Time was when the Clinch River was a vital economic link connecting Southwest Virginia to market. When the river filled with log rafts and flat-bottom boats headed for Chattanooga on the spring tide. Those days are a distant memory now. But stories of those days become a dream for Tom Gillum. He convinces classmates at Clinch Valley College to build an authentic flat-bottom boat. They aim to do it up from scratch. Find a tree, cut it down, just like the old days, with a few allowances for modern convenience. A poplar will do fine.
We're trying to catch it before the sap gets all the way up in it.
Class schedules dictate the building of the boat. There's no time to wait a year for the wood to dry, as in earlier days. Even with modern equipment, they struggle. Cutting a 30-foot log on a 21-foot sawmill presents problems.
We're having trouble with the mill right now making it. We can't, we're having trouble pulling it back and forth, so we're just going to shorten it and make it 24 foot instead of 30.
Travel no longer depends on the water level of the river.
That's the reason they don't use these boats no more.
Put that on the downside.
Time presses upon them as they work. A boat this size needs high water to negotiate over the many rocky shoals of this free-flowing part of the Clinch. Books do them no good now, and there's no living link to the old riverways to tell them what is right. They use only wood in construction. An authentic look is their aim. The turn from the angled bow to the flat bottom is critical. This seam feels any abuse the river presents. It must seal tight.
We decided to bend the board over it. And this way we'll end up with good seams, in theory anyway.
The activity rekindles a fascination for Glenn Strong, who was raised on tales of the river.
I always threatened to go on and never did get started. Ain't able now.
Yeah, when this all swells up, in theory, it'll be real strong and tight and float, in theory.
Boy, that's a heck of a fence. See through it. That thing's floating.
Well, it's just working the way we expected it to.
A week later, the time is right. Runoff from a recent snowfall raises the river. Anticipation is high. Just as quickly, hopes sink. The wood did not swell. The boat did not seal. But their pioneer spirit remains intact.
I'm gonna pull it out, seal the bottom of it, put it back in the river and try it again.
Are you disappointed?
Nah, we'll get her going. I don't give up.
Now it comes down to getting the boat to float any way they can before the river runs off from them. The frustration of the last few weeks leaves only Tom and Chad from school and Tom's brother. With a prayer of delivery, they head downriver. We'll find out what happens to our flatboat, steamboating, and life on the river when Heartland Tonight returns. Building a flatboat that sinks. You could lose a contract that way. Well, Tom Gillum isn't one to give up, and neither are we. When we last saw Tom Gillum, he was repairing his homemade flatboat. Those disappointments drift away on the morning fog. Today, Tom, his brother Jim, and classmate Chad head for a rendezvous with the river. What began as a class project nears completion in retracing the course of flatboats of days gone by.
We thank you, Father, for this group of friends that we have learned to love.
With a prayer and last-minute words of advice, they're off.
Well, thank y'all. I'm gonna put it in the current, Jim.
The river runs full. The weather cooperates, awash in a mixture of eagerness and respect for the power of the water. They drift into the grip of the river. They can't turn back.
Oh, yeah.
Those buzzards up there in the tree?
They started a little early, ain't they?
That's the best beller we've got.
They rely on the water. It signals which course to follow.
I brought the wrong set of glasses, Tom.
That makes me feel good since you're spotting the river for me.
We're going to hit a few fellers.
Don't fight it. Just keep us out of the trees, buddy.
On journeys past, a family's life and livelihood flowed with this river.
How fast you think we're going?
Oh, you're doing about 6, 8 miles an hour.
How far are we going?
You've been in, what, an hour and 15 minutes? Doesn't come 4 miles. That's about, what, 4 miles an hour? A little
Yeah.
bit? I say I'm proud of him. I ain't joking. That's get your energy going. Your adrenaline running. This will. Doing something nobody's done how many years? Not in my lifetime.
Passengers come and go, ready for a taste of freedom the river offers.
Good deal.
Good shot.
All right.
The river slowly imposes a connection. The rivermen of old look over their shoulders.
They was pretty on their crowd and they'd fight each other. Well, they'd fight everybody. When they run out of people to fight, they'd fight each other. The one that come out on top would wear the red feather. Well, until they take it away from me, I got it.
He won't have it too long.
Of course, sitting there with that Bowie knife in his jacket, I'm getting a little bit concerned, you know. Boy, we got some waterfowl on this river. There they go, they're talking to you now.
But you got a good little duck call.
At stages roaring and serene, it is easy for the river to lull them into false confidence. But this day, the river offers no real danger. The water level carries them safely over the hidden dangers.
I tell you what, boys, this baby, she's running awful good.
A riverman might eye an empty boat going downriver as impractical. But it's not the cargo they carry. It's the history on board that marks this river journey. First man's got to learn. That's what 90-year-old Glenn Strong told us when we asked him how to build a flatboat. No one alive could remember. First man's got to learn. That's how they figured it out, he said. We came back when we got the boat built and asked him if he wanted to go downriver with us. He smiled and looked at us and said, "If I'm going, I'm steering." When you live by the river, it becomes part of your life. When a river runs through your land, it runs through your life.
We lived in this community and we lived down next to the river.
For nearly 200 years, the Underwoods have been known by their place on the river. The Underwood Bend, where the French Broad splits to oblige Bryan Island. Like the river at high tide, Stella Underwood overflows with enthusiasm about her home place. At one time, the center of the river community.
They used Underwood Landing. There was a free road into the river, and all the farmers in this location could bring their products in, you know, to send down on the steamboat. Usually they went up and they would load the things on as they came down. Then they would bring things that people needed back up.
At the Underwood family home, approaching steamboats created a stir.
Always, when I heard the steamboat blow, I'd run to the river to see if my Uncle Ambrose was the pilot. He'd be in the pilot house, and you could look through it and see the silhouette. And he always smoked a pipe. I'd know that was Uncle Ambrose.
In the eyes of the youngest Underwood, the pilot's work was heroic.
I would go with him sometimes, and it was, he'd let me blow the whistle. And I could see him wrestling with that wheel, and I thought, my dad is the greatest in the world.
But when Ben Underwood grew up, the French Broad River pilot was a vanishing breed.
I would have to go to the Ohio or Mississippi because there wasn't enough need for pilots.
So the old river keeps rolling along. You could hear the bubbling of the water as it rolled over the stones and as it lapped against the bank. You could hear the water noise, and it was refreshing, and it gave you a sense of well-being.
Even hazardous waters like the Gallops were unthreatening to those raised within its constant rumble. Did you ever go down the Gallops in a boat?
Oh, yes. You couldn't put anything on the front deck, it would knock it to the back.
For young Stella, life on the French Broad was grand.
Oh, we went in swimming. We also paddled the boat up and down the river. I couldn't bring the boat up over the Gallops, but I paddled it everywhere else. I visited the people across the river. They were our neighbors as long as we could go back and forth in the boats. We had a lot of people who came in to fish and they camped along the river, and we enjoyed their company. We took it for granted, probably. It was, the river was there, and that's the only thing I can express. It was just wonderful.
Steamboat number 9, the story of Kaz Walker and Captain Newman when we come back. We recognized early the river's ability to work for us, to grind corn, power our mills, and carry our goods downstream to market. Then a remarkable thing happened. With the advent of the steamboat, we could go upstream too. Now get ready for this. This is how the indomitable Kaz Walker was involved with the river. You'll have to pay attention. March 19, 1956, Knoxville made Life magazine. This picture made quite a splash. Many thought it would send Knoxville down the river. It's really a story about going up the river. Summer of 1807. In Knoxville, Lion John Cooper was wanted for murder. Everybody thought he left town. Chances are he had to walk, because about the time Cooper got into trouble, Robert Fulton in New York was beginning to test his new steam-powered riverboat. When East Tennesseans heard about Fulton's folly, it fired their imaginations. Now coming and going in these parts will be a whole lot easier. River traffic then was one way, downriver by flatboat or keelboat until 1828 when the steamboat Atlas made it to Knoxville. The General Jackson had already reached Nashville. J.G.M. Ramsey, the historian, fought against the formation of the Knoxville Steamboat Company but lost. And in 1831, Knoxville got its own steamboat aptly named Knoxville, only to go bankrupt. The Knoxville sank to the disgusting fate of being sold, renamed the Indian Chief, and used to carry the Cherokees downriver on the Trail of Tears. People put up with its erratic whims because they needed transportation. Boilers were exploding, beans spilling into the river, hogs escaping and being chased through town. In one 3-day stretch, April 1885, 300 flatboats and 722 log rafts jammed the mouth of the Clinch and Powell rivers. The Casey Kiesler out of Charleston Marina plies the waters of the upper Tennessee, captained by Jim Carlton.
Those old guys have nothing but my admiration.
Running day and night, the crew works 6-hour shifts, building tows and working through the locks. It's a different river now, with 9-foot channel and buoys and daymark system. But the old river remains a highway. Today we're hauling feed from Staley's and zinc from Knoxville. Wood products, salt, coal, chemicals, anything that needs a bulk cargo is best moved in 140-ton barges. Times are good again on the river. Here there is no time, just the rhythm of the river and freedom. Boring?
Well, yeah, it's a lot of boredom interspaced with moments of sheer terror. You know, it can jump up and bite you in the butt, but mainly it's just nice. Just being your own boss, it'll spoil you for every other job. They say if you ever wear out one pair of shoes out here, the old girl's got you forever, and it's just about true.
But for us, we must wave so long at a landing where riverboats stopped 100 years ago. All aboard! Like old Captain James Newman and his crew. They worked the French Broad aboard the Lucille Borden, bringing groceries and dry goods to merchants along the river, like old John Walker here. Walker's trade with Captain Newman helped his grandson, Kaz, who later became mayor, get going in the business. All that's water over the dam now, how it flowed that Kaz's picture made Life magazine. Because a riverboat captain named Newman, helping out a Walker named John, grandfather of Mayor Kaz, getting the grocery business once upon a time in Tennessee. Food and transportation, they offer us much, rivers. Excitement, danger, peace and solitude, an escape, even a living. We'll cool off and take time out for some trout fishing when Heartland Tonight returns. Like a mother hen gathering her chicks, a river gathers together its springs and creeks and streams above in its mountain headwaters and tumbles and flows down, 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 until finally, magically, a river is formed.
Are you going to start off in there? I'll start off over here. You get many hits, Jimmy? That's good. thorn. See that one jumping? He took the hook. He broke my line. That was a pretty decent sized fish. I don't know about you guys, my feet are frozen. A lot of them active by the shore there. Those are tough to catch though. It's because it's so shallow. I'm tired. Also, I'm late to work.
Like Effie Baker said, life is like a river. The people we meet, who we come in contact with, our families and friends and everything, they all just flow in and out of our lives like a river. It just keeps on flowing. See you next week.